Welcome to Your Pharmacy Career podcast, proudly brought to you by Ravens Recruitment, Australia's leading specialist pharmacy recruitment agency. The podcast series has been created to shine a light on the diverse and inspiring careers of Australia's pharmacists. Each episode will focus on the varied career opportunities within the pharmacy industry by exploring the career paths taken by leaders in the fields of community pharmacy, hospital, industry, government and professional organisations. Careers never follow a defined path. Everyone's story is different and unique in their own way. The podcast series will help you discover the world of opportunities that exist and reveal pathways to achieve your dreams and aspirations. Whether you are a pharmacy student, early career pharmacist, or simply looking for a change at any stage of your career, the podcast series is designed to help you navigate ways into a career and a life that you love. Your host of the podcast series is Ali Sue. Ali, herself a pharmacist, is now the founder of Global Pharmacy Entrepreneurs and a passionate advocate for pharmacists to grow, innovate, excel, and make a lasting impact in the world. It's now over to our host, Ali Sue.
Welcome to Your Pharmacy Career podcast. I'm Ali Sue. Today, I'm speaking to the current National President of the National Australian Pharmacy Students Association, NAPSA, and former Research Chair, Verity. Verity is working as an intern pharmacist at Alfred Health in Melbourne, and in her final year of a Master of Pharmacy at Monash University after graduating with a Bachelor of Pharmacy First-Class Honours. Through her role as the NAPSA President, Verity wants to continue the fantastic work of her predecessors in strengthening the knowledge and experiences of pharmacy students and interns throughout Australia, and ensuring that their future is prosperous. In this episode, Verity has given students and intern pharmacists advice on how she networked and gained many opportunities in her pharmacy career so far. Without further ado, let's welcome Verity.
Hello, Verity. Welcome to Your Pharmacy Career podcast. Why did you choose pharmacy and what made you want to be the National President of NAPSA?
Funny story, actually. I ended up working in community pharmacy when I was 15 years old. So I've always been really exposed to pharmacy and was really interested in chemistry. And originally after high school, I actually thought I wanted to do medicine. So I moved up to New South Wales to study pre-medicine and realised there was a reason why in year 12 I didn't study biology and I preferred chemistry and physics. And so I moved back to Melbourne and kept working at my local community pharmacy for the rest of the year and then started studying pharmacy at Monash in 2018. So I completed my bachelor's and honours degree from Monash last year, and I'm currently in my final year of my Master of Pharmacy at Monash University as well. And alongside this, I'm currently the National President of the National Australian Pharmacy Students Association, or NAPSA. And for me, I've always loved pharmacy. All throughout uni, I really enjoyed it. And I recognised from quite an early stage that pharmacy students are capable of so much, and we can play such an integral role in promoting and advancing healthcare and medicine management for our patients. So although I wasn't involved in my local branch at Monash or VPSA, I had heard about NAPSA Congress and thought that it would be an amazing opportunity to learn from professionals within the industry and also to connect with like-minded students who are equally as passionate and committed to advancing the profession as I was. So back in 2020, at the start of the year, I attended our NAPSA Congress in Newcastle, and I was just inspired and blown away with how many students there were who shared the same passion and vision for pharmacy that I did. And previously, I had completed 2 hospital research projects over the summer. And so when I heard that there was an opportunity for the research chair position, a new role that was introduced, I immediately jumped to that idea, put my hand up, and was fortunate enough to be elected into the role. And this was such an amazing experience. I worked with such a lovely team, especially Juliet, who was the executive director of research at the time. And through this role, I realized how pivotal of a role NAPSA plays in shaping the future of pharmacy students and how big of an impact we have. And so in turn, I really wanted to help pioneer that growth and advancement even further. So I put my hand up for the role of president, and here we are.
You've been working in pharmacy since you were 15, and you've seen a lot. You work at different pharmacies. So what changes do you want to make in the future of pharmacy industry?
Yeah, great question. So as I mentioned, we know how capable pharmacy students are and how important we are in the profession, even at the level of a student or an intern. And so for me, I'd love to see the scope of practice for students and intern pharmacists expand throughout the country. One thing I think is fantastic is that in states such as Queensland, third and fourth year pharmacy students can undertake training to administer COVID vaccines. And I have no doubt that the involvement of these pharmacy students has had such a positive and great contribution to the vaccine rollout in Queensland. And so I would love to see initiatives like this applied universally across Australia. So that's just one example of, I guess, students and interns practicing to their full scope. And that's something that I'm really committed to and interested in, is how we can practice to our full scope, because we're such a capable workforce. In the community setting, I've been fortunate to have worked in community pharmacy, or I did work in community since I was 15 years old. So I was exposed to how community pharmacy works from quite a young age and worked in there until the end of my third year. And I think we definitely do have pharmacies out there which offer a range of professional services like diabetes education or sleep apnea clinics or blood glucose testing. And these sort of diversified roles of a pharmacist are really what attracts students. I think as students, we are such a capable bunch, and all students these days are looking to go above and beyond what they're currently doing. A lot of students throughout their university work in community pharmacy, and they're involved in, I guess, what you could say are traditional roles of a community pharmacist. But a lot of students want to extend that and go into these more non-conventional roles that pharmacists have within the community setting. And since there's a limited number of community pharmacies offering all of these additional professional services, a lot of students, I feel, are seeking out other ways in which they can extend their scope and practice different roles within their pharmacy career. So doing things like hospital pharmacy, whereby you can rotate through a range of different areas and take on those different professional roles in the one place. But as I said, that's just one example. But NAPSA are currently working on a project where we are going to talk about where we see the future of pharmacy students. And it's going to be based on some data we've collected over the last 5 years through our national pharmacy student survey. And we're going to sort of make this document or this project that's going to help NAPSA shape the future of pharmacy for students and interns. And that's going to be, hopefully coming out in the next few months or so. It's currently in the works, but I have no doubt that it will provide such a clear and strong direction for NAPSA to go forward into, and it will really encompass what sort of changes we want to see and how we can make those over the next 5 years. So definitely stay tuned for that.
Tell me more about the Australian Pharmacy Students Journal.
Yeah, so the Australian Pharmacy Students Journal is the first and the only peer-reviewed pharmacy student journal in the world. It's a journal that was created by students and it is for students. So I'm so honoured to have been involved in launching the journal last year through my role as the research chair. So it's definitely something I personally am really committed to, and I'm so proud of the entire research team, NAPSA team, present and past, for getting this journal up and running and for publishing our first edition already. Research is an area that everyone recognises is so important within the profession. Again, healthcare more generally. But traditionally, research opportunities have really only been presented to pharmacists who've graduated and worked within the industry for quite some time. So why not begin to develop a strong research culture among pharmacy students? Because at the end of the day, students are the future of pharmacy. So what the APSJ, or the Australian Pharmacy Students Journal, aims to do is break open that new research culture and have an impact on the profession. And we accept a range of submissions from students and interns in the form of original research articles, feature articles, case studies, opinion pieces, and a few more different types of articles. And as I mentioned, we published our first ever edition a few weeks ago on the 25th of Jan, and it's published twice a year. So I would encourage all students and interns to submit their work to the journal, and everyone within the pharmacy profession, regardless of your role, I would encourage to have a read through it. It's on our website, which is apsj.com.au. And really, through creating this strong research culture, we can influence and shape the future of the pharmacy profession in such a positive and significant way.
Well, I'm curious, if I'm an intern pharmacist working in the community pharmacy and I'm interested in research, how can I start, or who should I reach out to?
Great question. So depending on the intern program that you're involved in, sometimes they'll get you to do research projects. So that's one way that you can do it, through the intern training program or the intern foundation program that you're involved with. And also through reaching out to NAPSA. So often we approach different organisations and reach out to them to ask about opportunities for students to get involved in research projects. And a lot of the time, hospitals have really structured research departments, but it is so important that we generate strong research as well from the community setting. And so by getting in contact with NAPSA, we can definitely provide opportunities for students or interns within the community setting to get involved in research. This is something we're working on, and we're continually building every single day. So if there's any community pharmacists out there who are listening to this, I would definitely encourage you to have a chat to your students or interns about getting involved in a research project. No matter how big or small, it doesn't have to be some groundbreaking research that, has never been published or thought of before. Even things like audits on medication use, safety, audits on patient allergies. These are all things which are so important. And we can really use this data to shape the future of the profession. And more so than that, it teaches students the skills of how to do research. So by building these skills, we're providing students with more confidence and the ability to take on more research opportunities in the future.
How would you encourage pharmacists who doubting their path of working in the community pharmacy?
Take up all the opportunities that you have, like placements, and exploring different community pharmacies is really good. And also just thinking about what you want to get out of your experience working in a community pharmacy. If you notice there's something that you want to do better, implementing that change and making sure that you are having a positive contribution to patients and going above and beyond, I feel will really lead to better satisfaction. Like, we all feel so good when we do something to help others, or when we implement a change or an initiative that gives us job fulfillment and satisfaction. Taking the little wins as well. Like, if you have a conversation with the patient and they understand how to take their medicines, you should be so proud of them and so happy because you have successfully communicated to someone something that could potentially change or save their life. Understanding how important of a role you have in the community setting is so important and will make you more happy and satisfied with your job. And I think that's something that a lot of people overlook because they do it on a day-to-day basis, but they don't take the time to step back and really reflect upon what exactly they're doing and how much of an impact it can have on patients and on different people, because at the end of the day, you see so many patients every day, and each person you talk to, you make a difference to. So I think it's sort of, reflecting, taking a step back and looking at things holistically a little bit more.
Okay, final question.
Yeah.
Any last advice you want to give to our pharmacy students and intern pharmacists or early career pharmacists?
I think the biggest piece of advice that I have, and something that I have always, I guess, done myself, is just take up opportunities and put your hand up for everything, because you never know where things are going to lead to. I mean, if I didn't attend the NAPSA Congress in 2020, back in Jan, a few years ago, I probably wouldn't be here today as the national president. And I think that has just propelled my professional and personal development way beyond what I could have ever imagined. And again, these are things that I may not have been as successful in if it wasn't for getting involved in things like in my first and second year of uni, and building connections with people. And although you may be hesitant to sort of try something new, you never know if you're going to like it unless you try it. So if there's, I guess, opportunities to volunteer for something like a research project, or for rural and remote placement, that is such an amazing opportunity. And even if it isn't something that you sort of want to pursue in the future, you've had that experience. It's something that will change you for the better. And you can also talk about, at the end of the day, pharmacy is a competitive world. I'm not going to lie, like internships really hard, and future jobs are going to be hard to get into. So having a diverse portfolio of experiences and getting involved in different things can really help set you apart, and show how interested you are in the profession and how committed to it you are. And the more you get involved, the more you love it. The more you realize how amazing pharmacy is as a profession, and how much we can do as pharmacists as well. And when you start to recognize that, you'll want to be involved in creating and influencing change. So it's sort of like a cascade. The more you get involved in, the more you start to love it, and the more you'll do, which will then make the profession even better. So that's probably my advice. If I had to summarize it, just get involved, give everything a shot, because you don't know if you don't try.
Thank you so much.
That's okay.
Thank you for listening to this episode of the Your Pharmacy Career podcast, proudly brought to you by Ravens Recruitment, Australia's leading specialist pharmacy recruitment agency. If you enjoyed this episode and know anyone else who you think would benefit from it, we would be grateful if you could share it with them. Together, we help even more pharmacists develop a career and life they love. If you have any questions or suggestions about future podcast episodes, please reach out to us via email, info@ravensrecruitment.com.au.